All right. So, big news. Uh, According to the Colony Deeks Twitter account, Destiny 3 is in development. Now, this is a leak, so this very well could just be completely false, but I doubt it, knowing Colony Deeks. I doubt that they would willingly share false information. They also said that they have known this for weeks. So if they did know this for weeks, that just, at least to me, just it reduces the chances of this being a false leak down to zero because they would have had multiple weeks to verify if this leak is fake or not. Do I think it's fake? No. The reason for that is just how long it took for the Destiny 2 roadmap to, come out. It still hasn't come out. I I think it said, if I remember correctly, it said they'll be released shortly after like Ash and Iron launches, and it's been a couple months, so that would explain why it's taken so long. They had to account for an entirely new game being developed, and what to do with that, and yeah. And yes, I know that Marathon is in development, like pretty much all of Bungie's manpower is dedicated to that, but the tweet said extremely early development, which is probably like pre-production and planning and all that, not actually coding, which would explain why they're able to make they're making Marathon, which if I remember correctly, Sony said they want to launch in like before March 2026, and also Destiny 3 because they aren't transferring the talent over to Marathon because they already have like pre-production and all that stuff done, so they just start pre-production on Destiny 3. Just saying. Do I think a Destiny 3 would be good? Honestly, I can't say for sure. We 100% do need a Destiny 3 with a completely new player experience. We need we need that, we need like a new framework because like the game's kind of just dying with all the content being put on. Like they've been putting on band-aid fixes over and over and over again for issues. Like the portal for the new player experience. All that stuff. So yeah. Uh, but historically, Destiny on launch is like whenever like when they launched Destiny 1, when they launched Destiny 2, on launch day, historically, the game's never really done well. People didn't like Destiny 2 on launch. People on Destiny 1 launch, they didn't like the story, they didn't like that. So I do think that Destiny 3 on launch will struggle. I feel like it is very likely for that to happen. I also remember seeing something about a Destiny Classic. I I do not know 100% about that for sure. Colony Deeks did state that they are talking about that, but I don't know 100% for sure if that is an actual leak or just some rumor. Based on the name, though, it does seem like they would be using that to unvault old currently unplayable content like the Forsaken campaign, Forges, Red War, and all that stuff. Sony, they saw how Bungie was underperforming, and they probably just told them, "Hey, make Destiny 3, or we're gonna obliterate your company." Because but Sony probably realized that Destiny 3 would probably be the only thing actually bring back players and make Bungie profitable, something like that. I don't know for sure. I don't work for Sony, so it's a little thought in my head. Thought I'd share it. Now, what would I want in a Destiny 3? Well, I don't know for sure. What I would say though is no content vaulting, no portal or tiered loot, those all failed. A return to the Destiny 1 art style, as that was infinitely better than what we currently have with Destiny 2. A change to crafting where it is a role archival system. I know I've stated support for crafting in the past, but that was just because of how used I was to it that I just was scared by it going away pretty much. And that I do feel like crafting is majorly responsible for pretty much all of the loot problems we currently have. People just became so used to having the loot handed to them that them actually having to grind for it scared them. But I do feel like the the crafting system just being turned into like a sort of role archival system, like you get a gun, you extract its deep sight, and you get that you sort of save that role for later. You save it, and then when you go to the relic on Mars or whatever, wherever the crafting is going to be, you can then choose to craft the gun with an archived role, and the archived role obviously won't be used up, but I feel like that would be a good way to solve the vault space issue as well as bring back crafting, at least in my opinion. And that's really all I can think of off of the top of my head. If I personally am rather excited for this, if it does turn out to be true, as this has been something the community has been asking for an extremely long time. I think it was since Beyond Light launch that they were asking for a Destiny 3. I don't know for sure though, because that was like 5 years ago, and I barely remember what even happened in my life 5 years ago, aside from like the pandemic, Beyond Light launching, and all that stuff. But yeah, uh, let me know your thoughts on this news in the comments, please. Like, subscribe, share, and all that stuff. I love seeing your feedback, and all that stuff. Obviously helps me in the algorithm. And I will see you next time.